This has been on my mind for a while. It's something I wanted to type in fixing Ruby's Discord, but a lot of the times when I type stuff in the Discord and we're having back and forth, sometimes stuff just doesn't get translated well, or just like even little things like sarcasm and shit just doesn't click right with messaging. Um, and I figured this was something I wanted to put into a video. I just record myself, get it all out there. Um, Mainly because of two reasons. One, Fixing Ruby themselves have not done Volume 7 yet. Um, and the second reason why that's so important is when the show was debuting, I had the shits with the show at Volume 5 massively. I gave it a lot of flack for Volume 5. And yet, if anyone wants to, I mean, the proof is there. It's on the freaking my fucking YouTube channel. I actually had hope and optimism and expectations going into Volume 7 because I wanted to see certain stuff in Atlas. There were certain subjects in the show, certain ideologies and everything. Everything I wanted to see just come together in Atlas. And so I allowed myself to have a lot of hope for Atlas. So combine those two things, and I'm looking forward to what Celtic Phoenix, Raymond, and the Sketchy Huntsman end up doing. They've exceeded expectations in all areas with their current volumes, with their small changes and minor changes to their creative changes. But this was one thing I thought up for Volume 7 on my own that I don't think that even in the criticism circles it is a popular take. It really is a hot take in itself. And I don't think Arthur Watts is well executed. Like, he's a fan favorite, but he's a fan favorite now for two reasons, and that's one, he has perhaps the best fight scene in the entire series with Ironwood, and it's kind of sad that the best fight scene in the series goes to two people who are not using their fucking, like, it's not a visual spectacle semblance. There's no grand magic going on in the fucking show. When these two fight, it's literally counting bullets and dust ammunition. That's it. Nothing else. And it's a one-on-one. You have to... It's like, in order for them to put one of the best fights forward, they had to minimalize everything. They could not have heaps of people in one area. They could not have multiple people fighting each other. They could not have multiple abilities that are spectacle, like weather manipulation or cloning or stuff. They could not throw all these bloody things together and then blend it together into choreography. They can't. Kruby can't do that. So we got what's Professor, and the other thing is he told off Cinder. Even I laughed when it happened. It's like, Cinder's shit character and needed the fucking wake-up call. But it came at the expense of him fucking being killed off. So it's like, hey, we killed the good, fucking intelligent, crafty, cunning character just so Cinder could have 2 seconds of fucking brainiac time. Don't think it's worth it in the long run. So where am I going with all this? Because it's already been close to 5 minutes. Why do I think Arthur Watts is done bad? it's his entire background. It's who he represents based on what I've heard from Q&As and the show. All of this comes back to, I guess, Arthur Watts joins Salem. And he does that of his own accord. So you, as the individual watching the show, have to ask yourself, why does he leave Atlas? He has to have one hell of a fucking good reason to toss everything away. And and from what little I've managed to rip off people, he has a god complex. He's an egotistical fuckwit. I can get that. But how it's executed in the show is the problem I have. Because from what I understand, Arthur Watts is the creator of the mech. Like the giant mechs that you see Roman Torchwick in, and you see Ironwood, ironically, parading in Vale. And he's obviously helped develop the Centurions, the soldiers, the mechanical soldiers, because he knows how to fucking hack them and everything. So he's got input there. So for both the mechs and the soldiers, he's got bragging rights on all of that. And his whole reason for going and joining Salem, as per the story, is where they funded the Penny Project. Where? And from what's displayed, the Penny Project is a fucking secret. There's only one Penny, and she's half a failure. Even by even the first 3 volumes, how she's displayed is that while she's strong, she's a secret. And then by the time we get to Atlas and we learn the big fucking secret, the big fucking kick in the balls, is that every time Penny's like kind of rebooted or maintenance is done on her, Dickhead's pretty much taking part of his aura, which is part of his soul, and implanting it in Penny to keep her active. So she's not self-maintaining. She pretty much sucks the souls of humans to stay active. This is a very flawed design product. Horribly flawed design product. Because it's not something that can be fixed. There was a chance for them to go that route. There was a chance for them in the show to use Jean and his unique healing semblance to heal Penny's creator, her father, from the patches and be like, oh, my semblance is able to do that, and now Penny's self-sustaining, so you can constantly remove a piece, and then fucking I can heal you, and... But then, on a large scale, like if you want to like multiply Penny and like have an army of Pennies, it's not viable. This is not a fucking viable option. This is an extremely flawed shit product. And for some reason, Arthur Watts is extremely jealous of this product. And this is where his story, I think, is bad. Is just outright stupid, because it's like I'm jumping all over the place here, but in like a canon beginning forward from where we start watching the story in volume 1, 2, and 3. Oh wow, mechanical Elysian robots. Oh look, giant freaking knife. Ironwood's legit marching this shit around going, I love this fucking stuff. Please, look at our stuff. So I'm like, why is Arthur Watts even with Salem? Because it's clear Ironwood loves his fucking technology. I don't get it. I don't get the difference. It's like his motivation for joining Salem was, you invested in the Penny Project while sucking my dick for my technology, and because you did, I left, and now I'm gonna destroy the world. And I'm like, this makes fuck all sense. It's like you were writing a good character, and then you went so bad, you went into negative territory. The whole character makes no fucking sense. Like, even when you're using ego and vanity, the ego and vanity stayed at 0, and they're looking down at the negative going, what the fuck were they on when they wrote this shit? And this is where I came into it. Because I thought, I can't come on here and obviously complain about it and not offer up a way to fix it from my perspective. Mine combines a form of technology, which I do believe is viable in the Rubyverse, because we've already seen it in the Rubyverse. We've seen it to a minor perspective in the Rubyverse. I'll get to it in a sec. It's in heaps of anime. It in itself, this technology is a trope in itself, because it's so friggin', like, it's one of those science fiction things where someone thought it up and then you saw it in science fiction everywhere, because people started to think, yeah, that's going to be our friggin' future at some point. And this technology, which I will get to, it also creates a conflict of interest. Because if you give this technology to Arthur Watts and you give the robots to Ironwood, you have a reason for them to be fighting. And both of them, it kind of creates this morally grey paradox where both of them have good points and bad points based on both forms of technology. The technology I am referring to is body enhancement suits. You see them in all forms of anime. My favourite anime, Gantz, uses them as a fucking stereotype. If you've been reading My Hero Academia, he has a fucking body. All of them have some form of fucking bodysuit that enhances them in some way. But it's like a staple mark of anime, where, or not even anime, even gaming as well. It's like if you're playing a futuristic game, there is always some cybernetic suit that will have some kind of adrenaline drug in, like, stim pack injection that will make the humanoid person function better for a short temporary time, usually at a sacrifice of health. I actually created that as a semblance for an OC, being able to control the adrenaline and other toxins in their body, which is why they wear a visor and wear a breathing apparatus. But this is the main point. If Arthur Watts didn't create the mech and didn't create the robot, and Ironwood is, still the general, still the head teacher, and, like, over half his body is converted to robotics, and, it's because of Ironwood specifically that the robot army has come to exist, because he has the ideology that's conflicting with Ozpin, where he's like, I want to remove human lives from the front lines. I want to remove child soldiers from the front lines. I'm done with your way of fighting. I'm gonna, we're gonna move forward into a new era of, his way. I could see Arthur Watts being like the 50-50, where it's like, well, right now, the huntsmen and huntresses, how they usually work is they go to a school, they train, they build their own weapon. That's one thing in the Rubyverse. They build their own weapon. Through a ritual, their aura is unlocked. That's a guarantee for all huntsmen. They will have their aura. Then it's a gamble whether they get their semblance. That's a complete fucking gamble. It's not even a 50-50. It's probably lower. It's probably like 15-20% if they unlock their semblance. And then God help if it's something fucking useful or something useless. So this is where Arthur Watts could come up with the ideology of, well, we got child soldiers anyway. We, like, the Grimm aren't going anywhere. The Grimm, like, imagine him being Friedrich Nietzsche with the Superman ideology in his head. He wants human and faunus to be the best that they can be through technology. He has that mindset of him. And he develops these suits, and he's like, they wear the suits, they can be physically stronger, they can be faster, but then there's, there's no argument. You can say, oh yeah, we can send the adults to friggin' battle, 100%. But he goes, these suits amplify everything. He goes, they do all the, work to a degree because they're amplifying everything. He goes, in Ruby, we already got child soldiers. We got fucking Rubies young, but by the time they graduate, they're between the ages of 18 to 21, which is adulthood technically. But that's the point. He can turn around and be like, we can shove these suits on every single child in an academy, and they'll be ready to go in the field and fucking start killing Grimm. He has the ideology that we could start wiping out Grimm on Remnant on a mass-wide level. Of course, there would always be some existing, but he's talking a mass-wide, extinction-wide Grimm culling. But he's like, you gotta, it's high risk, high reward. You gotta stick these suits on the fucking kids. We gotta get everybody out there, and we're gonna wipe these fuckers out. And that's where the conflict of interest obviously comes along, because Ironwood doesn't want that, and there's already argument and tension between Ozpin and the other nations and Atlas chose to go down the robotics route instead of the enhanced bodysuit route. That's the idea I have. If they do that, and then you're probably thinking, well, why would he go to Salem? Because he's intelligent, he's cunning, and he's manipulative. He's not stupid. How many times have you seen a villain or a third party join one group and be like, not only be fascinated by how they work, he's the type that shows up and be like, wow, these Grimm are fucking fascinating as shit. And at the same time, use certain Grimm attacks and Grimm incidents that cause mayhem to get his suits on the market behind the scenes, letting him control smaller settlements all over Remnant. So he become whereas you got the main nations who have all the influence via the academies, all of a sudden, through attacks in the countryside and all smaller settlements and everything, he's providing the suits to them, and the Grimm attack on schedule based on what Salem wants. The Grimm get destroyed, and then he's controlling everything that's going on. And then see, this is like this 4D type shit that's going on, because it's like, oh well, what does Salem gain from it? That you can further dive into. I don't want to tell the story of like how it all should go. I just came up with the idea for the bodysuits and the ideology and how it clashes with Ironwood. I thought that was a smart thing, because I think Arthur Watt, as he currently is stupid. And it's a pain in the ass stupid, and speaks a lot about the RWBY fandom, about how, oh my god, he's one of the better things in this freaking show. He's like, no, he's dumb. You just didn't think about it. That's a common theme in the RWBY fandom. They don't think how dumb it is. They just accept it. That's where I'm gonna fucking leave it. I actually hope that the people on the Discord, different people, like I know Simerson, or Simi, I know he writes a lot. He'd have thoughts on this, where it could go. I know a lot of. I'm tired. I've been up all night. Just a lot of people, like, once they hear it, feel free, jump in the comment section. I don't know, jump in the Discord and fucking yak about it. I'd be curious to see what you think about it.